Hey guys, this is JBOY from the JBOY Show. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's a free way to make podcasts. It's unbelievable. It's how I started. Number one, like I said, it's free. Number two, it gives you creative tools to be able to add to your podcast, whether it be background music and all type of stuff. Three, they can get it on Spotify, Apple. You can get paid with sponsorships just by using ads, very similar to this one. So, download the free Anchor app, guys. It's unbelievable. You'll love it. And at the end of the day, it can get you started. All right. See you soon. What's up, everybody? And thank you again for joining us on another episode of the JBOY Show. Super excited to bring you GM of the Tampa 2020 team playing in the TBT, Matt Moschella. If you're not familiar with that team, it has Bryce Brown, Horace Spencer, Desean Murray, and Laron Smith. They've gotten a ton of support from the Auburn family, and really want to dive in with Matt and kind of see what the tournament's all about, what made him want all these Auburn players, and really how he feels about his chances, and really how you can get involved and how you can watch him play. Obviously, we hadn't had a ton of basketball in a while, and this is really going to be probably the first taste of competitive basketball. So again, we're super excited for Matt to join us. We've got a huge week lined up. I'm going to bring you Painter Sharpless tomorrow from Locked On Auburn on ESPN 106.7. Then we have Junior Rose Green. It will be released next Monday. Super excited about that. So there's some big things happening on the show, and it's all because of you guys. Really appreciate it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep bringing the content, and we're going to keep bringing you the best sourced information that you can find the fastest. So again, appreciate you guys. It's going to be the JBOY Show with GM Matt Moschella. Let's get after it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the JBOY Show. We are very excited to be joined by the GM of the Tampa team playing in the big tournament down there in Florida with former Auburn Hoopers Bryce Brown, Desean Murray, Laron Smith, and Horace Spencer. Matt, I really appreciate you joining us, man. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on.
So let's get into it. So kind of tell everybody just a little bit about the tournament and kind of what it entails for those of our viewers that aren't very familiar with it.
Okay, so TBT is a $2 million single elimination, basically just like March Madness.
Okay.
It happens every summer. It's 64 teams, and like I said, it's single elimination, so one loss, you leave. This will be our third year doing it. Our first year we won a game and then lost to VCU alumni on their home floor.
Okay.
And then last year we lost that on a buzzer beater to Chris Paul's team. And that one hurt, but this year we came back loaded. As you said, we have some big Auburn guys on our team. We added a couple other big pieces from other schools, so I think this year is going to be a lot different.
Now, with the Auburn guys, was that just kind of a coincidence, or was that kind of like happens in recruiting where you got one and he's like, hey, I got a buddy that would want to come and he's really good, and then you look into it and it ends up working out? Was it that kind of deal?
So it always started. Laron actually has played with us all 3 years now. So me and Laron, got pretty close. Last year he brought Desean Murray aboard, and then me and Desean got close. And then this year they brought up the possibility of adding Bryce Brown first. And like with that type of name, I was like, okay, definitely. Like if it works out, it works out. So then Bryce actually hit me up. And then we would talk for like a few minutes, and then all I told him is I needed like a 10 to 15 second verification video so that the TBT sees that it's him saying that he's going to play in TBT. Yeah. So, a couple of days went by and I didn't get it, and I was like, oh, okay, but then he sent it, and the rest was history. We posted it on Twitter. Our Twitter blew up. I never could have imagined all these Auburn support.
Yep.
But we're happy to have everybody aboard. And then, Laron's like, I got Auburn guy. And I said, hey, man.
Yeah.
And it was Horace.
John, Matt, you were kind of breaking up there a second. I kind of stopped hearing you after you said Bryce sent you the video and it was all good. What kind of happened after that? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Okay. So Bryce sent the video, and then we posted it on Twitter. And at the time we were up to 160 followers. We posted Bryce, and we started getting more and more following from Auburn, and then we started having a little fun with it, and we did a little teaser saying once we get to 1,000 supporters on the website, we have another Auburn guy we'd like to announce. And over a day, the Auburn supporters got us up to like 980. And, so I was like, because we were at like 800 something right before we announced Bryce. And then I was like, all this hard work, we'll skip the last 20. We'll get them anyway. So we announced Horace, and then even more of an Auburn support came. And just now the Twitter is popping.
It is. The one thing you'll notice about the Auburn fan base and family is that they tend to stick together even when guys are gone. And I think you're kind of getting a little taste of that. And in my opinion, just from growing up there, obviously I had a father that played there. That's really kind of what makes Auburn special. What you described right there is that it's kind of it's a bond that really lasts forever. And is, I think you're getting a little taste of it right now, and really smart by you guys, because they're good players too. They're really good players. So now, who would you say, who won it last year? Who won the tournament last year?
Last year was Ohio State alumni. It was their first year winning. They beat Overseas Elite in the Final Four, and Overseas Elite has won it the last 4 years.
Really? Okay. So Overseas Elite was like the dynasty, and they kind of knocked them off.
Yeah, they were 29-0, and then that was their first loss, and then Ohio State.
I gotcha. Now, so I know it's single elimination. Are y'all able, and I know with the pandemic and everything right now, are y'all able to practice or, put together a game plan, or are they kind of just going out there and playing?
So like right now, me and our coach, John Bianchi, we're talking strategy and stuff. And then our plan is we're going to try to get everyone down here like a week before to do like a little mini camp, just to at least get familiar with each other, stuff like that. Probably won't do any scrimmages just because of all this stuff that's going on with the pandemic. At least everyone gets to meet with each other. We can, go have a couple dinners so everyone's familiar with each other. And then after that, I think we'll just be ready to roll, because I like our chances right now. I mean, there's the teams that on paper look better than us, but that chemistry with those guys, the guys we've brought back, the other couple of guys we've added, I mean, it's a dangerous 10-man roster.
It is. And just from a coaching perspective, looking at it, and obviously this coronavirus thing is terrible. You don't ever want to say it helps anybody, but I'm sure it is going to give an advantage to the guys that have played together before, because to me, it seems like you almost have the perfect mix of, you've had Desean there, you've had Laron there, so they're used to playing kind of with the other guys and Bryce and Horace and them, and you just bring them along. It sounds like it'd be a pretty seamless transition.
Oh, absolutely. We've had the other two guys that have been on our team for the last 3 years. Their names are Isaiah Williams and Brent Jackson. Laron was the person that recommended them, so it works out well. And then the couple of new guys that we had, Laron also recommended. So a lot of this roster, I give credit to Laron helping us, build it the way it is now.
Awesome. Yeah, I was looking into it, and it's really an interesting deal, man. And I bet it's a lot of fun to watch. Is it a pretty fast paced, pretty up tempo style of play in that tournament, or will some teams slow you down? I mean, do you get the varying styles like you see in more tournament style basketball, or is it all just kind of, we have some set plays, but we're just going to go out there and get in transition, especially when you got guys like Bryce Brown that is just an absolute assassin in transition. I mean, a 3 for him is a layup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it's probably, like you said, more fast-paced style. I mean, you have a couple of teams in there that like to slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Syracuse alumni. They still run that zone that they do in college. So, people got to adjust to that when they play them. But for us, I mean, we're just going to have a couple like out of timeout plays towards the end of the games. But, in this tournament, and for those that aren't familiar, the tournament doesn't end on like regulation clock. It ends in an elim ending. So, it changes the game a little bit. So the elim ending for the last 4 minutes of the game, the clock goes off. So say you're winning 74-70, it'll be the first team to 82 wins. So there's no fouling, none of that stuff.
Okay.
So the game always ends on a game-winning basket.
Okay. Wow. That I can see that. I bet that makes it pretty intense, especially at the end.
Yep.
Man.
It does. So there's no fouling, I mean, Unfortunately, it kind of cost us last year, because if it was a regular game, we would have ended up beating Chris Paul's team. We were tied at 76, and they hit a 3 to get 79, and that was the ball game.
Sometimes the breaks go that way. You know that too, brother. But now, so when they seed this tournament,
Is it just a random drawing to get your seed? Is it past winners or one seeds? Kind of how do they divvy out the bracket to try and make it as competitive as possible?
So what their plan is always is they have a 3-step process. They go on like a fan base is number one of them, like teams that are going to draw people to watch or come to the games. Hopefully this year people get to come to the games. Everything's still up in the air. Second is reliability. And then third is your roster. So I mean, everyone says to them that it seems backwards that like your roster is the last thing, but for them it's they need people that are going to show up.
They need names.
And then and then once it goes to there, seating goes however they want.
Now is it televised? Is it online? Like if I'm wanting to watch it, is there any way, do I go through a website? Do they do anything like that, or do you have to be there in person?
No, so all these are always on ESPN networks.
Okay.
The last couple of years we've been on the ESPN app. I know they're talking about possibly with no sports, it could be on like ESPN and ESPN2. It just depends on what happens, like say with the NBA, MLB, all that stuff. Just television.
That was my next question. Is the TBT, are they kind of in partnership with the NBA? Because I'm sure there's probably been a few times in some of your tournaments where kind of a guy came out of nowhere and was balling against guys that are proven commodities. Does the NBA kind of keep an eye just to see, hey, there may be a guy here or a guy there?
I wouldn't say like they're really in like partnership with the NBA. Their biggest partnership is with Puma Hoops.
Okay.
So what they do is, there's been a couple guys that have got signed from TBT to go play in the league, and Puma gives them an endorsement deal. So that's one of their bonuses, from playing in this tournament. If you play in this and then you get a contract, you get an endorsement.
I gotcha. Now let me ask you this, kind of back to your team. And being the GM and having your hands on everything, just right now, what do you think is your biggest strength as the team?
Biggest strength? I'm going to say, it's going to sound a little goofy, but I like that we're one of probably the youngest teams in there. I just think we're going to be running and gunning. Adam Bryce is a great 3-point shooter. Our guy, Brent Jackson from last year, he's averaged 17 in the last 3 games we played. He's lethal out there. So, those two together, I see a lot of open 3 balls going in. And then, for us, one of our biggest additions, he was a Florida Gator.
Yeah.
His name's Walter Hodge. He won back-to-back national champions there.
That's right. He's a veteran I remember that name.
Yep. I think that's going to help us a lot too.
I got you. So it seems like you guys have really kind of recruited to a style. It sounds like you guys want to be up tempo. You want to be able to stop and pop. Is there anything during these games that does one team that has the most dominant big man? I mean, is that just a huge deal, or is it really kind of not? You see what I'm saying? Is it so based on this guy can sit here and just out rebound everybody the whole game? But I know you got Horace and I know you got Laron. You have to feel pretty good about down low.
Yeah, I mean, for us, like the one thing that's been killing us the last couple of years is always like Laron's been our only true big. So Laron gets worn down. I mean, last year he had a battle against Kennedy Meeks for a whole game, and Kennedy Meeks is a big boy down there. So Laron's getting a lot of weight going towards him. And I think this year, with having Horace, we can rotate them two right ways. We can have them on the floor at the same time. I mean, even Desean, he's a smaller big guy to me.
He is. He's unbelievable rebounder too. He's got a really good knack for it.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind banging down low with a 6'10" guy. I mean, he'll do it all day long. So I mean, we got the right mixture of players down there to handle any type of big man problems I think that we can run into. But for us, our big men, I think we have the perfect style man for the way we play. Horace and Laron to me, just want to catch lobs and block shots, and they're not going to force anything that's not needed. So I think we're in a good position with them too.
No doubt. And again, it sounds like you guys really have kind of put it into a style, and that's how you win. So with you thinking that this year is probably the best team that you have, would you rather play in this tournament style? And I get into this question with guys about the NCAA, where typically if you're a higher seed, you're playing, or a lower seed, you're playing a higher seed, kind of a cupcake early. Would you guys rather try and get one of the perennial powers early to try and make a statement, or would you kind of like to try and slip through and then get them in, the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, like the NCAA tournament?
That's a good question. I mean, for us right now, after the last couple of years of playing the two host teams, I'll say I'd like to get a win under our belt just to have it, and then they can bring on whoever they want.
Yeah.
If so, let us get a game where we get everything rolling. We see what we got, and after that, we could play Ohio State, Overseas Elite, whoever we want. I mean, it doesn't, at that point, it won't matter to us as long as we get our chemistry underway. I've told you before, I like our team.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure and again, I'm not trying to put a positive spin on coronavirus, but without having an NCAA tournament and without having the NBA, you guys really are center stage. It's almost like you've, and I know you didn't do this intentionally, but replace the NCAA tournament for this season. Have you kind of felt maybe a little more intrigue, or I guess you could say a little more excitement toward this year's, just because of the extenuating circumstances?
I think there is a lot more excitement. I think you have a lot more fans that are going to be interested. I think, like, if we're lucky enough to get on ESPN and ESPN2, I think this is going to be one of the most watched TVTs ever.
Yeah.
Because there is no sports on and all that stuff. And, that's why for them having a fan base is really big, because they want to see people tuned in. So for us having these 4 Auburn guys, we're happy to have all the Auburn fans on board, and we hope many more come with that.
Oh, you will, especially if you guys make a deep run. Expect to, if they let fans in the stands, you'll look around and see a lot of orange and blue start to pop up. But I see you guys are selling some shirts, man. They're pretty legit. You want to tell the people about the shirts you guys are selling? I'm trying to get my hands on one.
Yeah, so we made a special edition Tampa 2020 orange and blue Auburn themed shirt. So we did the navy blue shirt with the orange and white logo.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty much almost out. We got a few larges left, but if I get enough, recommendations to do another order, I definitely will. We sell them for $27, and that includes shipping. So, all that stuff goes towards, getting these players here,
mm-hmm.
feeding them and all that stuff. So it's not like, it's just all me making money.
Yeah.
It all goes towards the players.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and ask our audience right now. They're unbelievable about doing this and supporting. Go ahead and get one of these shirts, man. Help the guys out. I guarantee the more things they can do for these guys. I know it's a tough time right now for everybody, but if you can find a way to get one, because you're helping. It's Auburn helping Auburn, and something that again, is going to make these guys' job easier so they can focus on basketball. And really back to the basketball, Matt. What do you think when you're the guy that is the general manager, and you're not only involved in the schematics of it, you're involved in the operations of it, really kind of in the trajectory of it. What do you think is the hardest part about your job in doing this and putting it together and trying to put a winner on the court?
So for me, honestly, I'll give you a little backstory. This year, at like the first month or so, we actually had our roster filled, and usually we don't get commitments that early. So this year, I just put them out there early. But then Laron came up to me and said, man, listen, I got the chance to get Bryce Brown, Justin Gray, who played for Texas Tech.
Yep.
He went on the Elite Eight run. Horace Spencer, Walter Hodge, and he was like, we might have. Probably the hardest thing for me was cutting the local guys that we have.
Yeah.
That but in this type of business, you want to go with your best guns to win. So
definitely,
I think I did that.
Yeah, I could see that, and really. So the way, has there been any problems? I mean, I'm sure they've been giving you guys updates, kind of. Do you think maybe they're going to have to push the tournament back? Does it look like it's going to be on right now with obviously some certain rules and guidelines, or CDC guidelines, whatever you want to call them? Are you pretty confident about this is going to go down?
Yeah, every time we talk, I really can't get too much into it. But
that's true. That's true.
They have a good plan in place. They're gonna make, the only thing I can really say is they're gonna make sure that players get tested and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think you'll have some good basketball coming up this summer. That's all I can really say. I mean, my personal opinion, and it's nothing from them, is it will unfortunately probably be with minimum fans, if any fans. It's just tough to see a full stadium, with everything going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping so because, I think like you said, with it being in Florida, and us from Tampa and having these Auburn people, I think they'll definitely make a drive if, we're winning a couple games.
Yeah, and I guarantee you there's probably an Auburn club in Tampa also. They're everywhere. So I'm sure they'll show up. But really, kind of sticking on that same deal. When you guys, let's say you guys make a big run here. Let's say you guys run to the Elite Eight, the Final Four, or you win the whole thing. Do you get sponsorships for that next year? Will you have somebody come up to you and say, hey, man, we'd love for you guys to put this logo on your jersey and we'll give you this amount of money? Like, does it work like that?
So the thing is, like with TBT, is they make the jerseys, so nothing can go on the jerseys, but you can wear like a pre-game shirt with logos on it and all that stuff. But, we haven't been fortunate yet to make that deep run. Like I said, we won a game. But for me, winning a game, you want to win a couple games. You at least want to get to the Sweet 16 and stuff like that. But I truly believe with this team, we at least make the Elite Eight, go to Dayton, because the Elite Eight's in Dayton.
Yep.
I think then you have people wanting to the sponsorship and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Now, really, let me ask you kind of somewhat of a personal question. What made you want to do this? You've always loved basketball? Kind of what made you pick this avenue and led you to, being the guy on this team?
So, like, for me in high school, I always try to play basketball and baseball at the same time. But for us in Florida, you have year-round baseball.
Yep.
And so I could never really get into basketball in high school because I played baseball. Mm-hmm. And after, I didn't end up going to college for it or anything. I ended up just taking over my dad's family business down in Florida. We do concessions for all like the sporting arenas down here. And then my friend, he introduced me to like some local leagues around here. So we made a team. The first like major league we were in, we went 0-9. It was me and a bunch of my friends, and then I said, let's personally take this serious, because $1,000 local tournament coming up.
Yeah.
So I recruited the first couple pros. We won a game there, and that was it. So I saw what happened. I got a core guys next year. Won a couple of games, and then they brought up to me, man, let's consider TBT, and I was like, I'm interested because the number of supporters you got you in. So it was like the top 8 at the time got you in there. So, I'm pretty good with promoting stuff. I got that year we did win our first game, and then we lost to VCU. But we made a statement there. We went down 20 quick. It was in their home gym. It was electric. These guys had the band, the mascot, everything was there. So it was a legit college, atmosphere. And then, we got it down to 7 in the fourth quarter, and then we ended up losing by 11. But, TBT's always respected us since then.
Yeah. Well, man, Matt, again, I really appreciate you joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them about the website and how they can support you guys.
So all you guys have to do is if you follow us on Twitter, and it's 20_Tampa. We post a link on there. All you got to do is click the link. You click support team, you fill out your info, and then they send you a verification email. You verify that, you help us get in the tournament. Auburn guys support all of us. And other than that, like he said, make sure you guys get your shirts. I'd love to buy more if enough people are requesting them. So, I mean, we're ready to make a deep run. We're happy to have everybody on board.
Awesome, man. Well, Matt, I really appreciate you, man. And again, once you guys start, really start and then start making that run, I'd love to have you or Bryce and everybody come on the show and kind of keep us updated. And we're going to be following you and wish you the best of luck, man. You're going to have a lot of support, and I appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, Matt. Y'all be good. Tell everybody we said hello. All right, guys, this is another episode of the JBOY Show with GM Matt Moschella, the Tampa 2020 team of the TBT tournament. Make sure you check him out. JBOY is out.